Come on in here. It is 6 o'clock. Annette is here. I am here. Let's do a show, shall we? It is Tuesday, October the 29th. Here's what we're working on this morning. The Bloc Québécois say it's ready to start talks with some other parties to bring down the minority Liberal government. That's unless Justin Trudeau agrees to back two key bills.
The LA Dodgers one win away from taking home the World Series trophy.
And supermodel Gisele Bündchen is expecting baby number 3. I should have said Steve Ruddick is here too.
Yes.
He's ready to go. There's a nice blue vest. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, and we got a little bit of rain in the forecast for today, maybe even a thunderstorm this morning.
We do.
Thunderstorm?
Certainly warmer temperatures. Notice the warmth in the air this morning when you came in? Yeah.
I didn't. It was a little chilly for me this morning. Like I needed to, the seat heaters were on, the defroster was on.
I had the heat on this morning, but I noticed that there was this like dew on the window was everywhere. And I'm like, oh, just a couple more degrees colder and we'd be scraping.
Yeah. It's just that fresh country air you're not used to.
Yeah.
So, just getting that up here on the mountain. All right, let's have a look and see what's happening on the roads. A couple of minutes after 6 on your Tuesday. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. And on the roads, things are looking in pretty good shape right now. Moving through the Aldershot area along the 403, seeing no problems. There is one area that was brought to our attention, and this is a QEW Fort Erie bound at Dixie. Told that there's a vehicle off to the side. One lane was stopped, but it looks like everything's has been fixed up in the last couple of seconds, so that's the good news. Let's take a swing down towards Niagara, Skyway, Ontario Street. Traffic's moving along quite nicely. Burlington Skyway Bridge looking pretty good right now. Guelph Line, the turn there getting a little busier, as you would expect this time of day. Up by the Ford plant, seeing no problems. Glen Aaron Drive on the 403. 403 west of Mississauga Road, also moving well. Up by the airport, we're seeing things move along okay, although building up. 401 west of 400, things are looking good. So not seeing any major problems out there this morning to start the day on the roads, but the rains, when they come, could slow things down just a little bit, and we'll tell you what we expect to happen today. And look ahead to, of course, we've got two things. We do have Halloween on Thursday and changing the clocks back Saturday night before you go to bed. So lots of things on the go this week. That's it for now.
Lots of things on the go in our nation's capital because the Bloc Québécois could begin talks today with other parties to bring down the minority Liberal government as they hit the deadline today to pass two key bills. I want to bring in Simone Gavros, joins us live from Spencer Smith Park with the details on this. Good morning, Simone.
Good morning, Tim. Well, yes, the Liberal government is essentially facing this ultimatum today. The Bloc Québécois set the deadline for October 29th last month for these two bills to be passed. One is in regards to trade negotiations, and the other is looking to raise security payments for seniors. Now, if these two bills don't pass by the deadline today, the Liberals could face yet another non-confidence vote, which would force an early election. Now, so far, the Trudeau government has survived two non-confidence votes moved by the Conservatives this fall, but they would need support from both the NDP and the Bloc Québécois. The deadline today also comes weeks after the NDP ended their supply and confidence deal with the Liberals. Now, the one bill aimed at protecting supply management in trade negotiations currently has the support of the government and is being considered by the Senate committee, but is not yet passed. The other bill, which would boost security payments for seniors under 75, is still sitting at the third reading in the House of Commons, and it's one that the Liberals said they do not support. Meantime, some Liberal MPs are calling for a secret ballot to determine Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's future as party leader. So a lot of uncertainty that we're following today, but we're going to be following this and how it unfolds today at Parliament Hill. And coming up, we're going to be hearing more from political analyst Keith Leslie for more comment on what we can see later today. For now, Annette, I'll send things back to you.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, in Saskatchewan, Premier Scott Moe's Saskatchewan party has won another majority government, its fifth in a row. Most of the wins were in rural areas of the province. The NDP in Saskatchewan doubled their seat total, though, with big wins in Regina and Saskatoon.
And after more than a week after the provincial election in BC, there's been a final count of votes. A count of absentee votes gave Premier David Eby's New Democrats a narrow majority win with 3 more seats than the BC Conservatives. Elections BC says 2 of the seats are so close there will be automatic judicial recounts.
Pierre Poilievre says his Conservative Party is going to scrap the federal sales tax on new homes sold for under $1 million. If they form the next government, Poilievre says his government would push provinces to do the same, saying the tax cut would save $40,000 on a home that costs $800,000. He says the tax cut would be paid for by scrapping liberal housing policies, including housing infrastructure funding. However, the chair of Canada's Big City Mayors Caucus says the Conservative leader's latest housing plan would leave cities and towns on the hook. London Mayor Josh Morgan says municipalities just don't have the revenue to build or maintain infrastructure for new housing without support from the federal or provincial governments.
Let's get to municipal politics, that is. And the city of Hamilton is about to decide how much of a tax increase homeowners will have to pay next year. Mayor Andrew Horwath issued a mayoral directive to staff on Monday. She said the top priority is to take the affordability crisis into consideration when it is time for the budget. She says budget options must balance the significant demands facing the city against property tax impacts on Hamiltonians. She also directed staff to find efficiencies. Horwath also called on her staff to look for new and expanded revenue streams, which could include things like parking fines or user fees.
What are we charging in terms of fees? What are we charging in terms of fines? And is there an opportunity there?
And the 2024 budget included an average property tax increase of 5.79%, adding up to an average tax increase of $286 a year.
A cat has died in a house fire in Beamsville. The fire started around 10:30 yesterday morning on Dennis Avenue, spreading from the basement to the first and second floors. About 30 firefighters brought it under control by noon. No one was home, and the cause of that fire is under investigation. Update to a story we brought you yesterday. More than a dozen bullets were fired through the front door and window of a house in Welland. This was Sunday night. A man was captured on surveillance video walking up to that house and opening fire. Salvatore Mancuso lives at the home on McAlpine Street in Welland and said he had 3 friends over for a barbecue when the shooting started around 7:30 on Sunday night. He says the bullets flew through his home and into the living room and hallway, hitting furniture. No one was in that area of the house when the shots were fired, and no one was hurt.
I don't know, it's just nuts. That's all. It's like Toronto now. Like, what do you mean? Everybody's got to be hands-on weapons now.
Mancuso says he didn't meet the suspect before, but said he knows of him. Niagara police have arrested a 36-year-old man from Port Colborne. He's been charged with discharging a firearm recklessly, unauthorized possession of a firearm, and breach of probation. The Canadian Medical Association wants to scrap sick notes. They say having to write them pulls doctors away from patient care. The CMA says sick notes required by employers for minor illnesses create about 12.5 million unnecessary interactions a year. A new survey for the association shows about a third of working Canadians were asked by their bosses to produce a sick note for a short-term absence at least once in the last year. Well, along with flu shots, an updated COVID-19 vaccine is also available to most people in Ontario right now. The province says it's safe to get both shots at the same time. COVID vaccines are available at participating pharmacies, public health units, and doctors' offices across the province. And starting next week, some healthcare providers will also be offering free shots to protect babies from RSV.
Okay, lots going on in sports. It was the biggest sports night of the year. It was the Sports Equinox. So that is where all 4 pro sports leagues in North America are playing on the same night. Only time it's going to happen this year because the World Series could possibly end tonight. More on that in a second, but let's start in Winnipeg with the undefeated Jets.
McCabe, here's 10. Now take McCabe off a body. Out in front, score! Poked home by John Tavares.
They are undefeated no longer, as the Maple Leafs, led by John Tavares, snapped their 3-game slide, and Winnipeg's 8-game winning streak to start the season which was 2 off the all-time record set by the Leafs back in 93-94 and the Sabres in 06-07. Toronto would go out in front 4-zip and then just hold on for the win, which included the 21st hat trick from Tavares in his career, scoring the opening and then the final 2 goals in the 6-4 win. Leafs come back home and welcome the Seattle Kraken into town on Thursday.
It is a fastball. It's ripped down the line. It is gone.
To the Bronx, where there is no stopping Freddie Freeman and the LA Dodgers in the World Series. The Canadian first baseman smoked a 2-run homer in the first to quiet the Yankees crowd and has now homered in all 3 games and has tied a Major League record of 5 straight World Series games going back to 2021 when he was a member of the Atlanta Braves. The Yankees, they're in deep trouble now as they have not been able to get anything going on offense and find themselves down 3-0 in the World Series. They would score too late, but the Dodgers are a win away from their 8th Fall Classic title. They can win it tonight, back in the Bronx after the 4-2 win in Game 3.
Murray with it, 8 seconds. Jokic, 5 seconds. 4 seconds, 2 seconds. Murray, .3, we're tied.
Ooh, that's pretty nice. To the hard court in Toronto, Kitchener's Jamal Murray, who had close to 100 family and friends at the bank, to watch him and his Denver Nuggets tie the game late with the Raptors to force overtime, looking for their first win of the year. Murray would drain the bucket, tying things up, forcing overtime, and then reigning MVP Nikola Jokic took over in that extra frame. He had a game-high 40 points, 10 rebounds. Denver beat the Raps in a tough one, 127-125 in an entertaining affair. R.J. Barrett in his first game of the season. And the game-winning 3, clank iron to end it. Scotty Barnes left the game early after taking an elbow to the face.
Flag is down, returned by Austin. Plenty of room, great return, still rolling. Flag is down, Austin into the end zone, touchdown.
There we go to complete the Sports Equinox. The Monday Nighter completed it. And Gavin Austin put on a show as the Steelers hosted the struggling New York Giants. Austin would run back a punt return for a touchdown in the 3rd quarter after a quiet start for both teams. Then QB Russell Wilson hooked up with Austin in the 4th for a 29-yard touchdown. Steelers pick up their 3rd straight win. They moved to 6-2 atop the AFC North. 26-18 was the final to wrap up Week 8 of the NFL season. And finally, just want to head back to the ice for a second, where the best player in the world, Connor McDavid, did not last too long in the Oilers game in Columbus. He would fall awkwardly into the boards on the first shift of the game and then not return as the Oilers would lose badly 6-1 to the Blue Jackets. McDavid seemed to tweak his ankle, sent back to Edmonton. He's going to be evaluated on just how bad it is.
All right, 6:13 on your Tuesday. Let's have a look and see what's happening on the highways. Good start to the day, although we see in the Aldershot camera here, it is getting a little busier moving along the 403 from Hamilton into the Burlington area, as you would expect for a work day. So let's go down and see what's happening by the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Has been busy this time of day the last, 2 or 3 days. However, it's looking pretty good right now. Moving up from the Hamilton side right there, down from out of Niagara, looking at traffic's fairly light right now. Go up to Guelph Line. We're seeing things build as they normally should. Up by Pearson Airport, things are looking in pretty good shape. And as we look at the 400 and the 401, traffic's building, but you would expect that this time of day. So no accidents out there. Volume is looking pretty good, so it's a good start to the day. We also had a dry start to the day for most of us weather-wise, and warmer air is coming. How much warmer is it? Well, Chicago today is expecting temperatures about 26 degrees, so that's quite warm. Although we're going to get a little bit of that too. We'll get up to 20 degrees today, which is almost double what it normally is, around daytime highs of 10 degrees. So that's what we've got on the go. A little bit of rain also. Chance of a thunderstorm as it rolls through the area over the next few hours. And we hope by later parts of the day, the sun will come through. Tomorrow should be sunny. Also watching for this other little low, which will slide into our area on Thursday. How will it affect us as far as Halloween's concerned? Well, that's still up for conjecture. And as we look ahead here right now, we do have warmer air coming up. And for the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be well above seasonal temperature-wise. But some showers are going to be in there, too. Right now, temperatures outside anywhere from 3 to 9 degrees, 5 here in the Hamilton area. So more or less what it was yesterday morning. Sun will be up at 7:50 a.m., down at 6:16 p.m. Normal highs, as I mentioned, 10 degrees degrees, and we're looking for a high of 20 degrees today. Chance of a shower, maybe even a thunderstorm with 50 kilometer-an-hour gusts. And into tonight, we're looking for things to calm down, clear up a little bit. Still warm. Look at that, 16 degrees for the overnight low expected. Winds from the southwest at 20, and that's part of the reason why. But clear skies out there. And then beyond that, well, we'll check that out. We look at our extended forecast in the next few minutes. Let's look at things for now.
Okay, no Emily again today, so we're going to handle chit chat here at the desk. We're also going to handle the business stories of the day right here at the desk right after the break. And Google has been ordered to pay Canadian news outlets millions of dollars. Those details and other biz news in 2. Hey, 6:17 on your Tuesday. Here's some numbers for you. Let me tell you what's going on this board. The Canadian dollar is up 5 basis points, trading at 72 cents US. Gold's up almost $11, 27.6680 an ounce. Crude oil, it's up 35 cents, 67.73 a barrel. Maybe you're listening on our podcast. Excuse me. Good morning to you. If you are, off to trading in Europe. Markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Now checking the results in Asia, markets were up in Tokyo and Hong Kong, but down in Shanghai. And North American markets yesterday, the TSX gained over 100 points. There was a 273-point gain on the Dow Jones and almost 50 points gained on the NASDAQ.
Okay, here's some other business stories on your Tuesday. Google has been granted a 5-year exemption from the Online News Act in order to pay Canadian news outlets $100 million within 60 days. CRTC says it believes Google has met the requirements for an exemption from the law that compels tech companies to enter into agreements with news publishers. However, it has added stipulations to its decision, including that Google allowing more news businesses to join the collective. Tech giant agreed last year to pay Canadian news publishers $100 million a year in order to be exempt from the law.
The Washington Post decision to not endorse any U.S. presidential candidate is having a ripple effect. Since then, 3 of the 9 people on the paper's editorial board have resigned, and more than 200,000 readers have canceled their digital subscriptions to the Post. The Washington Post had more than 2.5 million subscribers last year. It's third in circulation behind the New York Times and Wall Street Journal.
1 week today is the election. Boeing launched a share sale worth about $19 billion U.S. in an attempt to improve some much-needed liquidity. It's needed to hold off a potential credit rating downgrade that would list them as a junk stock. According to a statement, the company has offered to sell 90 million common shares and about 5 billion of depository shares. The move could raise almost $22 billion. This is one of the largest share sales ever by a public company. Boeing is still dealing with a strike by factory workers. The company's stock price closed 3% lower yesterday.
Volkswagen plans to close at least 3 factories in Germany, lay off tens of thousands of workers, and downsize its remaining plants in the country. These closures in Germany would be the first in Volkswagen's 87-year history. The plans are already getting pushback from labor unions, setting the stage for possible strikes very soon. Volkswagen has been in talks with unions for weeks over its plans to cut costs and restructure.
So a new iPhone software update can actually turn your Apple wireless headphones into hearing aids. So the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the software last year. The hearing aid feature is available with the iPod Pro 2 models and starts with built-in tests just to help users determine if they have hearing loss. But the latest software update enabling the hearing aid application is so far only being rolled out in the U.S.
Okay, we're taking a break right now. I think you need to get some water.
I got a little tickle happening here.
Yeah, it sounds like
a little rumbling in the old throat.
Stay on that side of the desk. I don't want to catch anything. Steve is going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast.
All right, welcome back to Morning Live. Let's have a look and see what's happening on your roads at 6:24 on your Tuesday morning. Expected to see a little bit of rain move into the Hamilton area before it got to Halton and Niagara. Haven't seen that happening yet, but it is on the way. We could see a thunderstorm as well. We'll get to the weather in just a second, but Skyway Bridge is slowing down as you move from Stony Creek through Hamilton into the Toronto area. That's what we've got on the go there, making the turn at the Guelph line. Again, building up as it normally is up by Pearson Airport, starting to get get heavier again. So just the traditional areas are busier, and traditional areas of not busyness like the QEW Ontario Street looking in pretty good shape. So good start to the day out there on the road, certainly better than it has been for the last 3 or 4 business days. Let's check your weather now and see what's on the go. So we do have a lot of warm air coming across the American West, and we're going to get a little bit of that over the next 3 days as temperatures will almost double. They should be 10 degrees this time of year, but it looks like it's going to be 20 degrees, maybe a bit more. Coming with that, some instability, which means showers and or a little thunderstorm. There's not a lot of it here, but it will move through the area this morning into the afternoon, and then hopefully by the drive home, things will start to clear up. Also watching what's going on right here as we do see a little rain possible for Halloween night. So that's what we've kind of got on the go right now. Temperatures outside haven't changed much in the last little while. 3 to 9 degrees, 5 degrees in the Hamilton area, so more or less what they were yesterday. Tuesday planner looks like this. Unstable for the beginning of the day, but then getting up to 19, 20, hopefully some sun. And looking at your evening commute, looks like this, 18 to 20 degrees with, again, partly clear skies. That's the expectation. Looking ahead, warm temperatures the next 3 days before the cool stuff comes. Halloween, 30% chance of showers, which is better than it was a couple of days ago. And then, of course, Saturday night, Sunday morning, when you go to bed, turn the clocks back. We're back on standard time and back on normal temperatures by the looks of things. That's it for now.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, all this month, we have been showing you a lot of those giant pumpkins from all over the world. Well, ever wonder what happens to them after all those contests?
Ready, set.
Let's give him pumpkin to talk about.
Oh,
yeah,
my gourd.
Oh, these are gorgeous. This is in Belgium, where more than 300 people paddled in the giant gourds. Tradition that started back in 2008, while growers turning 400-kilogram pumpkins into boats instead of soup. Organized by a local pumpkin society and a kayak club, the race also features a pumpkin contest with this year's champion weighing over 1,100 kilograms. Once the race is over, the pumpkins serve a new purpose, with seeds saved for the next year and the rest is used as fertilizer. Because I wonder, like, a big pumpkin like that, like, how many pumpkin pies can you make? And is it good?
Yeah.
Because like a big strawberry sometimes isn't as good as like a smaller.
It's not as tasty.
Yeah, because there isn't as much flavor in it. I wonder if it's this.
I know the seeds sell for a lot of money.
Because there's special seeds.
There's special seeds
for the big gourds. Mm-hmm. The big gourds. Yeah. Okay, half hour down on your Tuesday. Hope you're good. Temperature's warming up, as you saw with Steve there, and a couple sleeps away from Halloween. Got a busy show for you. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Yeah.